There were challenges around accountability, discipline, and the core system on how to implement it. And that was the stage that we were just starting to grow very rapidly. Before, when we were just 20, 25 people, even though there was overall a lot of chaos and mess, it was still manageable, the direction towards which all teams were going. But at that point, we started feeling that, okay, now it's just getting a little too messy. We need to find a way to fix this.
There were a lot of things where, by virtue of not having it written down explicitly, it was not clear who is the ultimate owner.
We would discuss about revenue targets alone for 6 months time, but you can imagine that there are so many other members of the team. There is finance, there is product. They would feel left out because we are always discussing business as usual. All the underlying functions that make it successful were not being discussed. All the exploratory things that are critical were not being discussed. The other big hurdle that we were dealing with is where you start, it's a small enough team that coordination works, and at some point it starts moving from excellence to best efforts, right? Everyone is doing best efforts and accountability is not there. So we were looking at every different system and we felt OKR is the system that captures it the best. So that decision was made. Now the next thing was, how do we execute it?
At least the first 2 quarters, the heavy lifting again is done by the founder and the founder's org. The first 3 to 4 months are critical because there's a lot of enthusiasm across the org to come together. But again, it lies into how do you get into nuts and bolts.
We tried to implement it ourselves by just reading through the relevant material online and talking to a couple of people. But I think there were a lot of challenges that we faced, and both of those attempts actually failed.
OKRs were getting declined mid of the quarter. Some of them were not coming out with callouts very early.
The buy-in for an accountability system is also not there. So the team being ready to onboard onto a system like OKR where every week they have to put out an update would also be called as a hurdle, right? Understanding of it as well as having bought into that, okay, this is something that will actually help us.
Don't give up, right? So the first quarter and second quarter of using OKR, you won't find that sea change.
It's not been easy. I think the first 2 to 3 quarters, a lot of back and forth has happened in getting it right, but now the process is quite smooth. It has helped give a lot of clarity. It has helped us as founders to plan a lot better. It has helped individuals to give a lot of clarity on what they are accountable for versus not. Pointing out the interdependencies clearly has helped. So I think it's been a damn good experience, and I keep telling every other younger company I meet, they should move to implementing OKRs.
The impact is the entire organization is aligned from the time we started this system, and this system pushed us as the leadership team to create what really matters for the organization. It cannot be 100 things. So I would not say because we had OKR we doubled in revenue, but I would say that we were predictably moving towards that, right? Or we were moving towards that in a more organized way than we would have otherwise moved towards it.
Callouts have started happening, not only the planning, but have started happening much quicker, right? So people are able to pull the trigger, they're able to recalibrate. Otherwise, in the other framework we were in our first year, we were only getting to know when things were really breaking down. So I think quick callouts is my big takeaway because it's genuinely bringing the interdependence out across the org.
It also brought in a lot of accountability and discipline because before OKRs, those directions were changing very quickly and some things just used to fizzle out. You spend enough time deciding what you want to do through the quarter, through the year. And then you are disciplined enough because of the process of check-ins. And even if there are changes or has to be dropped, that has to be a conscious call. It cannot be that just because you didn't pay enough attention, even in a early stage journey, even if your priorities change, the overall process is flexible enough for you to be able to change your plans, but at the same time, giving you the benefits of a structure around the operations and the execution and still maintaining that accountability, visibility, and alignment.